The special simulcast, the Neil Haley's show and the Love Is podcast. I'm excited to welcome the host of Love Is podcast, Kim Sorrelle. Kim, how are you? And I know you're excited about our guest.
I am excited about our guest, Neil, very much so. Babs, Olusanmokun from Nigeria, a country that is on the top of my bucket list, a country that I desperately want to go to, but living in New York City, I believe. Babs, you are on fire. You are in Star Trek, Strange New World, Dune, and now you've got this new project coming out, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. You are a black belt in jujitsu. You have videos I've seen on how to eat. You're just everywhere doing everything, and I am a huge fan. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I have no idea who that guy is that you just described. Oh my God. What is
Isn't
going
he
on?
wonderful?
No, Babs, that's the crazy thing. Did you ever think this was going to happen to you when you started in acting?
I very much, in a way, yes, because I was very passionate about the work, and I had a drive about me, and I knew, like, yeah, even if I got off the path here and there, I was always sort of focused that was my life goal. That might be silly to some, but that's really what I wanted. And and I just kept fighting forward, and somehow I am sort of getting somewhere.
Sort of getting somewhere. Yeah, well, sort of getting somewhere is sort of getting somewhere big. And everything you do, though, you seem to go full on from the outside looking in. It looks like you just give it your
And
all in every single role. Is that how you feel you go after things?
absolutely, absolutely, I think it's a privilege to do what I do and to try and have a career in the arts and something that people dream of, and storytelling, trying to inspire people, trying to entertain people. I think it's a real gift, and therefore it's something I would never take for granted, and I would never. Yeah, I love it. I love it dearly, and so I do it with all my heart, and especially when it comes to screen, this is something that it stays there forever. It's its own version of immortality. So I never want anybody to be watching me and thinking this guy is just phoning this in, or yeah, if I was cleaning the streets, I would be cleaning the streets to the best of my ability. I just think that's how one must approach the things we do. So yeah.
Definitely. And I would, Babs, I'm going to go to Kim on this. Kim, I mean, that blows me away. That's exactly how everyone needs to take their job every day. If they did that, they'd enjoy their job more, Kim.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. Does that come from your upbringing? Is that something your parents instilled in you, or where's that come from?
Perhaps probably from my dad. I imagine from my dad. My dad was a guy that was like, I want to travel for work, so I will learn French and apply at the foreign service, in Nigeria, and then maybe a year later or so, they call him back, and then boom, he's doing that. And yeah, so he definitely always pushed, and I think even as a child, I sort of tended to take on responsibility, and I'm my own biggest critic,
Yeah.
and yeah, so yes, I think that would be a big part of it.
I'm my own worst critic too, watching myself, all the different things I do, and now getting involved in movies. Now it's crazy. I pinch myself to think where I would be. Let's talk about your latest project, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Tell us about the premise of the movie and your character.
Okay, so this is a film that is specifically based on one mission, or is based on one specific mission by the Special Operations Executive Unit, which was a covert unit created by Winston Churchill, and he did this unbeknownst to his war cabinet. They wanted to keep fighting Hitler and Nazi Germany in a gentlemanly way, quote unquote. But he realized quickly, without the help of the United States yet, which hadn't gotten into the war, he realized that this war needed to be fought in an ungentlemanly way. And he therefore created this unit. And so this mission is about destroying resupply ships that were based on the island of Fernando Po, which is off the coast of West Africa, not too far from Nigeria, actually. And this island was run by the Spanish, Italians, and you had Nazis floating around and, throwing their weight around there. And Richard Heron, my character, is a guy looking at the long game, and he's there on the ground, and he's built this, he's created this casino bar, and he's got this import-export thing going on, and he's doing it at such a level that, some Nazis depend on him, in moving things for them, because regardless of the war, some of these guys were there just to steal, just to make money. Right, so he was helping them move different kinds of things. So, but unbeknownst to them, of course, he was just setting them up for the fall.
Wow.
So Richard Heron is the spy, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's so interesting because it's a story that I've never heard. I think a story that's not really been told.
Yeah. In reality, the files on this mission were only declassified by the British in 2018.
Oh, wow.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. Did
And
you actually shoot there or where was the film shot?
No, we actually shot in Turkey. We took over a harbor, and actually they built a harbor, I should say, on the coast in Turkey, and it was beautifully done. It was literally all these buildings were built just for it, and it was like a little town by the water, and they brought these ships in. It was a lot of work, production design, like all these amazing craftspeople that build these things. You see us on screen, but all the stuff around it is just amazing level of detail, and so just an amazing production all around.
Now, Kim, I think there's love in what he does. Kim, real quick question for love to finish up.
Yeah. So, Babs, I wrote a book about love. I spent a year trying to figure out the true meaning of love. And so love is kind of my gig. It's pretty important to me. And I always feel like, love is everything everywhere. But it's different things to different people. And so I am curious, where does love play a part for you in what you do and in your life in general?
I mean, love is family, and love is in what I do, because I made a conscious decision to make sure I did something that I love to do. Even when I was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu and teaching jiu-jitsu for many years, I made sure I loved it in the moment, because in teaching it, I have to pass it on to others. And so I made sure I loved it and I respected it. And that's how I approach acting in my career. I love it, and I'm deeply in love with it, wherever it takes me. I'm not the casual guy. I'm not around just to be around. And if that's all I do, I'm grateful for it.
Fantastic. Check out the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Will be in theaters on April 19th, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds catch up, and we'll find out what happens with season 3. Thanks, Babs, for coming by.
Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
So much for having me.
All right, that was a special simulcast of Neil Haley Show on the Love Is podcast, guys. Take care.